Imagine this for a second. You're facing a really tough challenge. It could be anything. Maybe mastering new software for your job or, I don't know, tackling some crazy hard exam.
Right, something with a steep learning curve. And everyone who tries it hits a wall at some point. It's inevitable.
Exactly. But here's where it splits. The first person, they hit that wall and you just see their shoulders slump. And they think, I just can't do this. I'm not wired for this.
And that's it. The effort just stops. But the second person, they hit the exact same wall, feel the exact same frustration.
But the little voice in their head says something totally different. It says, okay, I can't do this yet.
That one tiny word, yet. That's everything, isn't it? It changes a dead end into a process.
It really does. And that transformation, that single word, is what we are diving into today. Our sources lay out the science behind what psychologist Carol Dweck calls the growth mindset.
And our mission here is to unpack how that mental shift can totally change how you learn, how you deal with failure, and really what you think your potential even is.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because this isn't just, some motivational poster quote. This is a real psychological framework. So how does it apply to you right now, facing whatever challenge you've got?
Well, it all starts with Dweck's big discovery, which is that people, for the most part, operate from one of two core beliefs about their own abilities.
The fixed mindset and the growth mindset.
Exactly.
So let's define those, because this is like finding the user manual for your own brain. Let's start with the one that holds people back, the fixed mindset.
A fixed mindset is the belief that your intelligence, your talents, your abilities, they're just set in stone. They're static traits you were born with.
So when you fail at something, that failure isn't just about the task.
No, the fixed mindset makes it about you. The failure becomes proof that you've hit your limit.
Right, that's the classic, oh, I'm just not a math person. It's a statement about identity, not about a skill.
Precisely. And the danger there is that it makes you avoid challenges. Because if you might fail, and failure proves you're not smart, why would you ever risk it?
You wouldn't. You'd stick to what you know you're good at to protect that idea of yourself.
Exactly. Now, the growth mindset is the complete opposite. It's the belief that you can get better at things. That improvement comes from effort, from learning, from trying different strategies.
So that person looks at the same math problem and thinks, what?
They think, okay, I don't get this right now, but I know I can get it if I practice. The focus shifts from who you are to what you can do.
I love that distinction. And this leads to Dweck's, her core idea, right? That genius isn't born.
It's grown. The people who achieve the most aren't just blessed from day one. They're the ones who understood that effort is the tool that builds the talent.
And that belief, or the lack of it, ends up shaping every single decision you make when things get hard.
It really is the ultimate strategy. It determines if you quit or if you re-strategize after a setback.
Okay, here's a quick test for everyone listening. Think about the last time you got some negative feedback. A bad grade, maybe some criticism at work. What was that immediate gut reaction voice in your head?
If it was the fixed voice, it probably sounded something like, see, I'm just not smart enough for this, or I knew I was bad at this. It's a verdict.
But the growth voice, that's different. That voice says, okay, that didn't work. What do I need to try differently next time?
It asks a question instead of delivering a judgment. And this isn't just about feeling better, The research shows that students who believe their brains can grow actually get higher grades over time.
Higher grades than their peers who started out with, like, a higher aptitude but a fixed mindset.
Yes. Because when you believe growth is possible, putting in the effort just makes sense. It becomes worthwhile. If you think your talent is fixed, then having to try hard feels like proof that you don't have the gift.
It's almost shameful in that view. Which brings us to failure, because this is the moment of truth for most people.
Right. And with a growth mindset, failure stops being something that defines you. It's something that refines you. It's just information.
And when you look at the people we admire most, their stories are filled with failure. Take Michael Jordan.
The greatest of all time, yeah.
He was cut from his high school basketball team.
Can you imagine? That's a huge rejection for a kid. The fixed mindset would say, well, I guess I'm not good enough. But he used it as fuel. He just worked harder than anyone else.
Or what about J.K. Rowling? Harry Potter was rejected by, the dozen publishers?
A dozen, yeah. Think about that. 12 different professional opinions telling her no. If she'd had a fixed mindset, she would have stopped. The story would just not exist.
And then you have the ultimate example, Thomas Edison. The man failed thousands of times trying to invent the light bulb.
And his famous quote is the perfect summary of the growth mindset. He said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work.
He saw every failure as just data, not a judgment.
Exactly. That's the synthesis. Failure becomes feedback. Every mistake is just a message telling you what to try next. It becomes useful.
And this isn't just a nice philosophy. There's actual hard science backing this up.
Yes. This is where it gets really interesting.
We're talking about the physical reality of what's happening in your brain.
We're talking about neuroplasticity, which is just the scientific fact that your brain is not fixed. It can literally rewire itself based on your experiences.
That one fact just completely pulls the rug out from under the fixed mindset.
It does. The best way to understand it is the muscle analogy.
Okay.
When you lift weights, you're actually creating tiny tears in your muscles. The body then repairs them, but it builds them back stronger than before. That's how muscle grows.
And the brain. It does the same thing.
In a way, yes. When you struggle with a hard problem, you're forcing your brain cells, your neurons, to fire in new ways. That struggle actually strengthens the connections between them. It's like paving a new road in your brain.
So that feeling of struggling with a concept,
Yeah.
that's not a sign of your limitation. That's the feeling of your brain getting stronger.
That is literally the feeling of growth happening. Your intelligence isn't fixed, it's a muscle. And challenges are just the necessary workout.
Okay, so knowing the science is one thing, but in the moment when you're frustrated, how do you actually do this? The sources give us some really practical strategies.
Right, these are things you have to practice. The first one is the simplest. You have to change your language.
So you catch yourself thinking, I can't do this.
And you consciously, deliberately add that magic word, I can't do this yet. Or you rephrase it, I can learn how to do this.
It seems so small, but it changes everything. What's number 2?
Value the effort. You have to start celebrating the hard work, the process, not just the perfect A+ result.
That's a tough one. We live in such a results-oriented world.
It is tough, but if you only reward the easy win, you're teaching your brain that struggle is bad. You have to praise the persistence.
Okay, 3rd.
Seek challenges. Actively look for the hard problems. If everything feels easy, you're not growing. You're stagnating. Remember, that struggle is the stimulus for growth.
Right. And 4th, learn from criticism. This is a huge mental flip.
It is. You have to stop seeing feedback as an attack. It's not. It's a roadmap. It's free information telling you exactly where to focus your effort next.
A roadmap to getting better. I like that. Okay, what's the last one?
Surround yourself with other growth-minded people. This mindset is contagious. If everyone around you is saying, I'm just not good at this, you'll start to believe it too.
Those are the big strategies, but what about small daily habits, things to make this automatic?
Okay, let's get specific. You could start your day with a simple growth affirmation. It sounds a little cheesy maybe, but priming your brain actually works.
Just something like, I can learn what I need to today.
Exactly. And then at the end of the day, do a quick reflection. Instead of worrying about your to-do list, ask, what did I learn today? What did I struggle with that made me stronger?
Focus on the gain, not just the gap.
Right. And here's my favorite one. Keep a failure journal.
That sounds depressing.
But it's not. It's not for dwelling on what went wrong. It's a logbook. You write down the mistake, analyze why it happened really quickly, and then immediately write down what you'll try differently next time.
So you're turning the mistake into a concrete plan.
You're turning it into an asset, instantly. And finally, you have to reward the effort. Acknowledge when you stick with something hard. These little habits, over time, they overwrite that old fixed mindset programming.
So what does this all mean? We've covered the psychology, the science, the stories. When you boil it all down, what's the core takeaway?
The core takeaway is that your potential isn't something you find, it's something you build. The real difference, the one that matters, between average and outstanding, isn't your starting intelligence, it's your mindset.
Embracing this idea really does turn obstacles into opportunities. That pressure you feel.
Yeah.
That's not a sign you're going to break. It's a sign you're about to grow.
Beautifully put.
So the next time you are staring down a tough subject, or you get a grade back that disappoints you, or you just feel completely overwhelmed, remember this. Remember Jordan, remember rolling, and remember that your brain is literally designed for this. You're not there yet, but you are absolutely on your way.